Hi everyone, I'm Dennis from London, and for my watch story I want to talk about my first Patek Philippe. To show you the watch first, this is a reference 3802 Calatrava in rose gold. It has an automatic movement, a date function, very typical Patek stylings, and of course it has the beautiful hobnail bezel. I've been wearing watches for most of my life. And like a lot of people, I started wearing Swatches and G-Shocks. Then in my teenage years, I moved on to a quartz watch from, let's say, a more fashionable brand. It obviously wasn't anything special from a watchmaking standpoint, but it became a daily companion to the most transformative years of my life. It taught me that watches can carry much greater meaning than the object itself. The thing though was that my dad would always tease me about that watch. He'd say that it's just quartz, it's not going to last, and it's not as good as a Patek Philippe. Back then, I didn't know what a Patek Philippe was, and I kind of just ignored him. I mean, what kind of name is Patek Philippe anyway? But somehow, the name stuck. My quartz watch finally gave up in my early 20s, and for the first time in my adult life, I had a conscious choice about what watch I wanted to wear. I happened to be waiting at a dentist's reception one day of all places, and there was a copy of GQ. They had a feature on a brand new Cartier. This was the Calibre de Cartier. I was so excited that immediately afterwards I checked out the watch. It had a display case back, so that was my first time seeing a mechanical movement in person. I didn't end up buying the Cartier because I wanted to learn more about watches first. It was around this time that Hodinkee started, so that became a very big part of my watch education. Both my parents also collect watches. So I asked them about their collection, and it turned out they had some really exciting pieces, largely Pateks, across different styles and different complications. I would cheekily drop hints about the watches every time I had a milestone coming up. After more than 10 years of dropping these hints and qualifying as a lawyer for the second time, this time in the UK, my parents finally decided this was the right time. They gave me a choice between this watch and a 3800 Nautilus. I was very conscious of the value of the Nautilus, so in the end I chose the Calatrava because this is actually my parents' first Patek, and I wanted this to be my first Patek as well. This watch speaks to me on a number of different levels. Aesthetically, it has that beautiful hobnail bezel. It's also 33 millimeters, which fits very well with tailoring, which is what I'm usually wearing. Personally, this watch reminds me of my parents' generosity and how well they've steered me, both in terms of my watch tastes and also in my life more generally. I now live halfway across the world from my parents, and I think of them every time I look at this watch. We also enjoy talking about new things I discover on my watch collecting journey, so it's become a way for us to bond and to connect even though physically we are so far away. On the whole, this watch really speaks to me, and it's one I would never sell. In that sense, I have already found the best Patek I can ever own. Thank you so much to Hodinkee for sharing this, and I look forward to all the other stories coming out of this series.